Well, good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School Boys Gymnastics. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, bringing you tonight's tri-meet between East Brunswick, Middletown South, and Middletown North High Schools. Again, this is a tri-meet, meaning 3 teams will be competing tonight, and the way it's arranged is that teams will be working 2 events at one time. And so tonight we'll open up with Florex and Pommel Horse, and East Brunswick will be the first team up on Florex. East Brunswick Bears come in 1-2, and probably the most important thing to note about this year's Bears team is their inexperience. Jason Cohen, who has been a state champ in several events for the Bears, is sitting out this year. And so Don Weider comes in with a team of 2 freshmen, 1 sophomore, and 4 juniors. Up first for East Brunswick is Mike Carafalo. Mike is the first competitor and start this event off. For an handspring, step out into a back summy. We'll be following mainly the East Brunswick team, although to make it more interesting for the viewers, we'll also show you some of the competitors from Middletown South and Middletown North. And Mike finishes up his routine. Again, the first one on, and floor exercise for men is much different than for women. Obviously, there's no music. Secondly, men are required to show both strength and tumbling skills. And so you'll see a variety of strength moves, presses, handstands, as well as some balance skills such as scales. And I'll try to point them out as we go along. Waiting for Mike's score. In the meantime, this will bring up Matt Schumann. Matt starts off with a round off flip-flop back summy. A little low, but he pulls it out. And here's a strength move. He kicks into a press. It actually should be much slower. Slight deduction there on the front summy by falling. Scale. And now Matt will tumble into the far corner. Another back flip-flop to a back summy. Mike Garofalo's score was 4.3. Up next for East Brunswick is Ed Haft. And you see Ed waiting. Judge gives Ed the okay. And Ed starts off a round off flip-flop back summy. Score for Matt Schumann was 4.7. Handstand rollout. Front summy to immediate forward roll. Straddle jump, front summy. Tough combination. Ed having a little trouble again. A deduction for falling on his seat. Round off back summy. Up next will be Sean Deaver. Sean is this year's captain of the Bears. Sean starts off with a back summy. Good high back summy. To a split. Press handstand. Front summy. Straddle front summy. Here's his balance move, his scale. And off flip-flops, back summy. Sean Deaver, this year's captain, and score for Ed Haft was 4.6. Last up for East Brunswick will be Dave Dupler. Forward straddle roll into a press. Back handspring, back summy. Front summy step out into flip-flops, back summy. Press handstand. You see how slowly he works it up. Should not be a jump move. That is, you should not be jumping into the move. You should be showing your strength by pulling your lower body up into the handstand position. Front handspring, front summy. Slight break. Again, the same move we've seen by almost all the gymnasts. And he ends up with a back summy. Nice routine for Dave Dupler. And that will finish off East Brunswick on floor. They will move over to the pommel horse.
Middletown South, feet on the floor exercises. Up for the Eagles are Jay Kenny, Todd Kirsten, Tom Fazio, Tom Pola, and Dan Cartagena. East Brunswick will compete on the pommel horse. Up for East Brunswick is Mike Garafella, Mike Seaver, Ed Haft.
Waiting for Dave Dupler's score. And we'll be following East Brunswick as they go over to the pommel horse, and you'll see teams switching back and forth, again running two events at one time. The score for Dave Dupler is 7.3. Again, if you're just joining us, it's East Brunswick High School Boys Gymnastics. It's a try-me tonight. East Brunswick competing against Middletown South and Middletown North at the same time. Two events are being run simultaneously. And you see in your picture, this is a competitor from Hamilton South. This is Jay Kenny. In the meantime, we'll go over to the pommel horse where Mike Garofalo will be the first one up. Mike gets the okay from the judge. And he jumps into double legs circles. Side horse is, or pommel horse as it's more commonly known, is the most difficult event for the gymnasts. They are required to swing and use every piece of apparatus as Mike finishes up, every section, if you will, of the horse in swinging motions, either double leg or single leg cuts. They are not allowed to touch the horse, sit on the horse in any way. The only thing that is to touch the horse, or allowed to touch the horse, obviously, is their hands. As you can imagine, it's very difficult then to maintain a momentum as you try to work each section of the horse. That is the neck, the middle, and the end. Mike Lepper will be up next for East Brunswick. Mike jumps into single leg cuts. Reverses his position. Gymnasts are required to do scissors, and that's what you see Mike doing right there. And Mike, through a series of leg cuts, dismounts. Mike is hobbled a little bit by a sore heel. Ran into him in the dressing room, and you see Coach Don Weeder there on your screen talking about double leg circles. That's the motion he was trying to convey. In the meantime, this is Ed Haft up for East Brunswick. Ed into double leg circles, trying to get out to the far end of the horse. Spins around, reverses his position. You could see him moving his hands around. We missed the score on Mike Lieber. And you can see it goes rather quickly. Side horse does not take much time as Sean Deaver is up next. If we can, we'll try to get Mike Lieber's score. But this will be Sean Deaver for East Brunswick and on the pommel horse. At half score is 2.6. Slight fall, Sean, in double leg circles. Into scissors. Again, they are a requirement. And a dismount. Last up for East Brunswick on the pommel horse will be Dave Dupler. You see Dave getting ready to go. Dave showing double leg circles. Missed the pommel. You see how easy it is to miss the pommel. He's trying to move out to the end of the horse, or what they call a side lift. Now back into double leg circles. Reverse grip for his dismount. Nice high dismount. Dave Dupler. So East Brunswick finishes up on the pommel horse, waiting for Dave's score. See the East Brunswick bench, and we mentioned they're a very young team. 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and 4 juniors. Certainly missing Jason Cohen, who was a mainstay of this team for the last several years. Jason is sitting out the high school season to concentrate his gymnastic career through private coaching and workouts. And the score for Dave Dupler was 3.6. So East Brunswick finishes their first rotation, that is floor X and pommel horse. They'll next move to rings and vault. And they will be the first team up on the vault. And so we will follow them. We're waiting for one of the gymnasts from, I believe, Middletown South to finish up on the floor before teams start to scurry over to the different events. And you see him in your picture right now, finishing up his routine. If you know anything about the history of East Brunswick gymnastics, boys gymnastics in particular, they have been state champs. I believe it's 16 out of the last 18 years. And they are this year's defending state champions. Don Weider has been the only coach, and his record has been nationally recognized as one of the best in the United States. And we're waiting to see now whether the Bears will move over to the runway for vaulting. Waiting for the last floor X competitor. So we'll take a break for a moment, and we'll come back when East Brunswick moves over to the vault. Well, we welcome you back to East Brunswick High School Boys Gymnastics, and we'll be doing this periodically through the night. Again, the reason being that this is a tri-meet, and so East Brunswick will be sitting out in each of the rotations, and while they do that, we'll take a break and then come back and bring you the action of the East Brunswick competitors. So East Brunswick's going to move over now to the vault, men's vault. Up first should be Ed Half for East Brunswick. In men's gymnastics, unlike women, they get one vault. Women have the option of taking a second. So this will go rather quickly for East Brunswick. But Ed will be up first. You see him getting ready. Each gymnast marks on the floor. You can see maybe a little bit of white tape on the, or next to the rug there. That's their starting point. They've measured it out in terms of distance and paces. Ed on a handspring, slight arch, but a good vault nonetheless. Up next will be Matt Schumann. Waiting for the judges' score on Ed Haft, or Haft. And you see a nice close-up of Matt Schumann. Matt getting ready to go. He too with a handspring. And handspring is a quite popular vault for high school gymnasts. Mike Lieber now for East Brunswick. Score for Ed Haft was 7.0. Again, the gymnast waiting for the okay from the official. And Mike's getting ready. Oh, Mike had a very good vault onto the horse, trying to do a handspring half. And he's going to take a second vault. I'm not sure how they look at this now with the second vault. We'll see what the scoring indicates. Handspring again, a little trouble. His heels dropping rather quickly. Good board to horse movement though. In vaulting, the judges are looking for speed down the runway, good takeoff from the board, that is height and distance off the board onto the horse, good straight body, and what they call repulsion off the horse, that is distance away from the horse, and certainly then you're landing. Dave Dupler will be on deck for the Bears. We'll see how they score Mike Lieber. And apparently he did not suffer much from that first vault. Mike Duper, another handspring. Dave Dupler, rather, I'm sorry. And Sean Deaver will be up or next and will be the last competitor for East Brunswick on the vault. Dave Dupler scores 7.8. Very nice vault, Sean Deaver. You can see what we mean by repulsion from the horse, how far away he landed. Sean's very tall gymnast, which looks aesthetically looks very good to the judges. So East Brunswick quickly finishes this event. And they'll move over to the rings following Middletown South and North. Score for Sean Deaver is 8.2. Excellent score. So East Brunswick will move to the rings. However, we're waiting for both Middletown South and North to finish their rotation. And so, as we've said, stay with us. We'll be right back, and we'll bring you East Brunswick on the ring event. While we're waiting for Mike Lieber to jump up on the rings, he will be the first competitor for East Brunswick as they move to their third event. There's 6 events in men's gymnastics. So East Brunswick halfway through this tri-meet. Mike chalking up. And you want a lot of chalk on your hands for rings and high bar, as well as parallel bars. A lot of friction. The idea of the rings here, or what judges are looking for, is both strength and swingy movements, and the need to keep the ring still. That's very important, not only in performance, but in your score. Mike Lever back up rise. Has to hold it. There's one strength move in L position. You see the ring swinging just a bit on him. A series of what you call inlocates, or almost like forward rolls through the shoulder area. Mike's swinging, and that really throws off your tempo and your timing, and certainly your weight distribution. And Mike will do a back summing off. So Mike Lieber, first competitor. Ed Haft, or I guess it's Haft. I keep pronouncing this young man's name wrong. Ed Haft is up next. Waiting for the score for Mike Lieber. And you see Coach Don Waiter in your picture. He will lift Ed up. It is allowed. It's quite permissible. Give Ed a chance to get a grip. Get the rings still. They are cold still rings. And a nice uprise to an L. Shoulder stand. Ed doing a nice job with that. Rolls out, inlocate. Uprise, another L. A little bit of knee bend. Seeing had a little trouble. Dislocate. Back semi off. Well, in all honesty, we would expect the fact that you cannot have a state championship team year after year. And these young men are working quite hard tonight and doing a nice job. They are, as we've mentioned at the top of the show, inexperienced. And this is one way you get experience, is through competition. And you see Sean Deaver in your picture now. Score for Ed Haft is 3.1. Front layout, or front planche, or front layout rather, or lever. Very difficult move, strength move. Showing a little trouble there. It goes into the inlocates. Holds the L. Shoulder stand. Again, inlocates to an uprise. Again to the O position. And a back semi-dismount. Sean Deaver, that will now bring up Dave Dupler. You can see if you look closely at Dave, he's wearing a lot of Certainly, as we said, chalk, put on a lot of chalk, but he also has what they call grips, hand grips. You'll see that on high bar and in some cases even parallel bars. Again, it's to protect the skin from ripping. The rings are wooden, the handles are wooden. And the friction obviously causes a great deal of tears in the skin. Scores for Sean Deaver, our score is 3.5. Dave moving very nicely into his L, pressing, straight arm press to a handstand position. Uprise, again into an L. Very difficult to control those rings once they start swinging. And a back layout dismount. And that'll bring up the last competitor on rings for East Brunswick. That's Mike Garofalo. Mike getting ready. Score for Dave Dupler, 4.3. Slight break, he was trying to hit the L position. Shoulder stand, again in locates. Straddle L, but too much swing. So Mike will do a back semi dismount. We'll wait for Mike's score as East Brunswick will then move on to its last rotation of the evening. That'll be parallel bars and high bar. See the judge finishing up his scoring on Mike. And the score now being flashed of 2.9. So East Brunswick will move on to parallel bars. They'll be the first team up. Parallel bars require the gymnast to perform swinging movements between the bars and above, as well as show strength moves. So you'll see, again, much like we did on floor, press handstands as well as handstands. Ideally, you would like to see the gymnast have releases both above and below the bar. And we'll see if any of the gymnasts from East Brunswick attempt that tonight. This is the 5th event. We do not have any score at this point. It is a tri-meet, East Brunswick against Middletown North and South. Should we get a score, we'll be glad to pass it on to you. And the judges getting in place. One will be judging high bar, the judge in the lower right-hand corner. The judge in the left-hand corner, lower left, is the judge for the parallel bars. Up first for East Brunswick will be Mike Lieber. And you see Mike adjusting the bars. Each gymnast has their own set position, if you will, for the parallel bars based on the width of their shoulders, which then allows them to swing through. Ed Haft giving him a little encouragement. And we're ready to go. First competitor, parallel bars for East Brunswick. Mike starts out with a shoulder stand. Uprise to L. Could have held a little longer. Back to a shoulder stand. And a dismount. Mike Lieber for East Brunswick. Ed Haft is on deck. And we have our first score as we're looking for Mike Lieber's score of 2.6, and Ed Haft is on. Ed into a shoulder stand. Rolls out of it, uprise. Tries to hold that L. And a dismount with a half turn. Score-wise, after 2 rotations, or 4 events, East Brunswick 61.8, Middletown South 67.9, and Middletown North 46.2. So it seems to be coming down to East Brunswick and Middletown South tonight. Less than 6 points separating the two teams. Score for Ed Haft is 2.8. Matt Schumann up next for the Bears. Front semi. Matt trying to get into the handstand. Swing back up. Into a shoulder stand. Rolls out. Uprise. And a pirouette dismount. That'll bring up Sean Deaver. Sean, very tall gymnast. Should look pretty good on this event. Score for Matt Schumann is 3.1. Glide kip. Little trouble. Shoulder roll. L. Castaway uprise. Front semi, I believe. And a back semi dismount. Sean Deaver. Last up for East Brunswick will be Dave Dupler. And you see the gymnasts helping one another set the bars. Sean Deaver's score is 3.1. Dave really putting on the chalk. Glide kip. Uprise, little trouble. Front semi. L, and there's a straddle L. He's gonna, on one bar. Nice move. To a press handstand. Kip. And a pirouette off. Nice routine by Dave Dupler, last competitor for East Brunswick on the parallel bars.
Middletown North, now speed on the parallel boards. Up for the line bar.
And we're waiting for Dave's score.
Middletown South, speed on the final board. Up for the Eagles bar. Luke Barrett, Jay Kenny, Tom Fazio, and Todd Pearson.
And the score is 4.8 for Dave Dupler. East Brunswick's last event will be high bar, and they're the last team in the rotation. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back to bring you that last event. All right, Ed Haft ready to start things off for us on the high bar. Last event for East Brunswick tonight. They were trailing after 2 rotations to Middletown South, 67.9 to 61.8. Ed getting his grip straight. Again, East Brunswick comes in 1 and 2 into this meet. Young, inexperienced team, but doing quite well tonight. And we'll see Ed starting off well for the Bears. High bar obviously is centered around what they call giants, giant swings up and over the bar. And looking for movement. Not certainly movement, but exchange of hands. In other words, releases above and below the bar. It's an event that's not difficult, but as you can well imagine, takes some time to get accustomed to. And once the gymnast has giant swings down, they're pretty much able to pick up all the other tricks. Ed score 2.9. This bring up Matt Schumann. You see Matt adjusting his grip, changing it into giant swings, reverse giants. Crosses over, or pirouettes if you will. That is a deduction. Coach Weeder coming in to spot him. I'm not sure if Matt's done or if he's going to jump back up there. No, I think he's called it a night. Apparently his hands may be bothering him. If a gymnast falls off the apparatus, they do have an opportunity to remount within a certain period of time. So Dave Dupler will be up next. Matt scores 2.5. Dave gets up, gets himself settled. Back hip circle. Kip up. You see, he's changed his grip rather. Into giants. A little difficulty there. And back semi-dismount. So that'll bring up Mike Garofalo. Score for Dave Dupler is 2.7. Here's Mike being helped up by Coach Weeder. Mike reversing his grip into giants. Slight form problem there, but he's moving around nonetheless. And looked like he was trying to come back into the bar for a hip circle for his dismount, but finishes up with a back sumi dismount. And the last competitor up for East Brunswick this evening will be Captain Sean Deaver. Score for Mike Garofalo is 2.5. Sean into Giants. Got him going now for a flyaway dismount. Good routine for Sean Deaver, and he finishes up for East Brunswick. And East Brunswick finishes up their participation, if you will, in this tri-meet against Middletown North and South. As we mentioned, they're a young team, and as you saw tonight, a lot of development needed. Certainly they will get that development with Don Weeder. And a team that I think really needs the support of this high school in this town. These young men have worked quite hard, as you see Coach Weeder talking with them and trying to provide, obviously, the encouragement. We're waiting for score for Sean Deaver, and it's 3.6. But I think it's a good showing tonight. Middletown South is considered, and as shown tonight, that they are the stronger school. And so the Bears will have their record go to 1-3, as they'll certainly outscore Middletown North. And it's a learning year. It's a learning year for these young men, a year that they'll look back on and probably see as a major starting point for them in developing on their way back to a championship team. Anyway, we've found out that East Brunswick is behind Middletown South in the scoring, and that there's no way that they, having finished the meet, can win. So we'll close our telecast here from J. Doyle High School. So that's it for tonight's boys gymnastics meet. East Brunswick finishing second. And I'm John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us. East Brunswick boys gymnastics. This is John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us.